What will he be playing?
We'll just have to see. You know, he said he was a 7 out of 10 in terms of the versatility of decks that he's comfortable with. He's relatively creative, but I think that he's more likely to lean back to an established archetype and make a few changes to it. He's going to start off with a log rolling down the left lane. Didn't hit the tower, though. A little bit of wasted damage he could have gotten there, but not a big loss overall.
Win says that the player to beat, the player he's keeping his eye on, is Music Master. Rocket's coming down right away. Now that is a huge early lead for Colton. Why? 5 elixir for the Executioner, 6 elixir for the Rocket. Rocket kills Executioner, and you get 493 damage on the tower for only 1 elixir. What a deal.
As Willy Wonka would say to Wins, you get nothing.
I said good day, sir. But now Pekka is saying, well, hold on now. She's coming across the river. Oh no, oh no. The Tesla Tower did not pull it over, so the Knight has to come out to drag it a little further. Log's gonna come down, pulling it, and he uses Tornado to activate the King Tower.
The Winds pulling strong for Colton, but not strong enough. A ton of damage at the left side as Colton reeling from a big hit. Left side tower does hold on, but the King has gone down to 591. That's the dangerous thing about not having access to Poison. It's one of the best counters to Graveyard in the game, and even though Poison also works well with Graveyard, it's also one of the counters to that card.
I'm very impressed with Wins' deck so far. Very expensive from what I can tell. Lots of heavy cost cards, a lot of support, and it looks like he's going to try to defend with Pekka, the big metallic defending tank that she is, and then throw a Graveyard on the counterattack. Colton's got to figure out a way to use this minor Rocket deck to keep the pressure on and not let Win set up anything too big to counterattack with.
He doesn't really need to set up anything that big, though. He's already got that left side down to 495. But pushing with a Pekka Electro Wizard anyways, he's looking awfully deadly. Now, Tesla Tower does do double damage to Pekkas in Clash of Clans, but not here. It's just normal damage, but nonetheless, it's able to do quite a bit to that slow-going Pekka, and that left side Electro Wizard's about to zap the tower down. Finishes it off, and Wins has pulled ahead 1-0 over Colton in the first game.
Log's coming through with the Miner, but the Ice Golem is standing between the tower and the Miner, preventing it from doing too much damage as Log knocks Miner yet farther away. Wins is looking really good right now. He has 1684 damage to play with. Colton is switching, it looks like, to a Rocket Cycle plan. He's going to try to cast 2 more Rockets in the next 30 seconds. His deck does have a lot of low-cost cards, but it's going to be a challenge to try to get that 2 more Rockets in there in such a short period of time.
I would be very surprised if you were able to pull this off, but I've seen bigger comebacks before. Miner gets a nice lock on there, but pulled away by the Tornado. That's an awful result for Colton as he needed more damage on the left side from that push. Rocket does land for another 493, but he's 570 short, and with a huge attack out the right side, Colton's forced to defend and has no more chance to apply any more pressure to Win's left side tower. Wins, the player from China on Team Nova, has defeated Colton in the first battle of this matchup, the best of 3.
The Graveyard, but now he's got a feel of how Wins is going to play. China's top-seeded player here today, and he just needs 1 more win, Wins does, to move on to the next round. Colton has to win the next 2 to take this match.
Wins loves to travel, and he certainly is going places. He's already made it here to London, and he is not looking to be done in the round of 16.
Let's go.
1 battle away from moving on to the quarterfinals.
His girlfriend is rooting him on. Ooh, Tornado's pulling the Ice Spirit away.
Double Tornado.
I really
it's
like
getting
that.
pretty windy in the arena after all around here.
And it looks like Wins is playing Spellbait. Now, we saw this deck earlier out of Adrian Piedra. Goblin, Gang, Goblin, Barrel, and Princess are the 3 cards to keep your eye on. Colton does have a Log and Miner. He's going to have to use Miner on the Princess, Log on the Barrel or Goblin Gang in order to keep all of these swarmy, low-cost cards in check.
Colton's got a nice split early game here. He's been able to deal damage to both the left and right side tower. Hasn't taken a whole lot of damage from Wins. And I think that Colton actually has a little bit of a deck advantage in this setup. The fact that he's running Log here means that he's able to get at least 1 good spell play in a 2-for-3 exchange against either the Goblin Barrel, the Goblin Gang, or the Princess. He's also playing Tesla, though. An interesting play here, very defensive. Winds up that Wins is able to counter it pretty well. He's just going to ignore the Tesla and throw a rocket straight for Colton's right side tower.
So Colton is playing the exact same deck as last time, even though he lost with it, which is a pretty bold choice that we don't see a lot of. Now, both of these players, I think, are playing pretty defensive decks, and they might just opt to throw cards at each other's tower. The King Tower's activated again. We mentioned that last game, and now you know what we're talking about. Watch that King Tower as it will attack additional times. Log comes out of hand. You'd expect Goblin Barrel to come out now, but he just played Goblin Barrel. He doesn't have it at his disposal. So I really like how Colton, his cycle is set up right now. I feel like he has the advantage right now as we go into double elixir time.
Dangerous thing for the Goblin Barrel, though, is that it doesn't need a whole lot of time to deal a lot of damage. The King Tower can get some value when activated, but it takes a few shots to take those guys down, requiring another tornado once again to pull them back and away. Wins has pulled ahead now in the damage race overall.
Colton's going to use the log on the tower for damage. It's a little risky, though, because, of course, Wynn's entire deck wants you to play your log, and if you're not hitting any troops, that's going to give you a little bit of an opening. Looks like he might be setting up for a play there. Goblin Barrel's coming in, and Princess at the river. Tornado's going to pull the Goblins away from the tower, minimizing the amount of damage they can do. We've got 714 against 842.
Got a little bit of chip damage. It looks like Colton will be well set up to go for the 2-crown game here, but he needs to make it there into double, sudden death first. He's got to knock that left side tower down because Wins is almost certain to be able to get to another rocket. To finish on the right side. He gets it with a Princess. Colton needs 125 damage to stay in the game.
Log's not enough. Log only does 96, so he's got to get a little more damage in there. Time's going to run.
That's not it! Colton is still in it!
We are going into overtime, and just like that, the tables have turned in Colton's favor. While he was down with just 3 seconds to go, now look at the damage on the towers. He's got a significant lead, a rocket's worth of damage lead on his opponent. If he can just finish it off, 2 rockets and a log, I believe is enough to do it. It's going to be very close.
Nice catch by Colton as well. Mega Minion gets that Princess down. Unfortunately for Colton, this Tesla just is not able to block the shots from the Princess. It goes underground whenever it's not in use, and Colton's looking very aggressive here. Plays a rocket on top of the miner. 547 means he's 1 spell cycle away from winning the second game.
Just needs log rocket and Wins knows it, so he's going in aggressive with the Knight and Goblin Gang in the middle. Tornado's going to hold it all, and I think he has survived that aggro push. Goblin Barrel's coming in. There's no log in hand. He's using the Mega Minion plus the 2 towers to clean out the goblins surrounding the tower. And I believe Colton, I don't know, the pressure's being kept up by Wins. He's not giving him a break. It costs 8 elixir to win the game, and he cannot get that 8 elixir out just yet. He's got 8. Can he do it now?
Send in the heavy firepower. Rocket cannot be stopped. Miner gets the killing blow as Coltonw83 pulls off the turnaround. A 2-1 victory over Wins, and this best-of-3 match is going to a tiebreaker, Rami. To not think that he's going to be playing the same thing.
Wins played P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard in game 1, and in battle number 2, he brought out Spell Bait. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. We've got the top-seeded player from China against a North American USA player who qualified through an international invitational. 16 players from live tournaments around the world, hailing from Latin America, Europe, and North America. He fought through them all in a format very similar to what we're playing today to reach this. His mom's in the audience rooting him on, and we'll see what happens. Okay, we got Graveyard coming in for Colton here. P.E.K.K.A.'s going down the right lane, going to fight that Knight favorably, but let's see how this Graveyard on the left goes. It looks like it's not going to do too much damage overall.
Yeah, pretty aggressive play there from Colton. Could have gotten some value if he had been able to lock, but that Electro Wizard able to shoot at 2 different skeletons at once. Got some great work on defense there. Looks like the P.E.K.K.A. will be able to chop through these archers. No more attack left from Colton, but he still has a Tesla set up on defense. Down about 3 elixir relative to Wins, though. What's this attack going to be? It's another Graveyard. A double Graveyard game, Rumham.
Wow, and this time Colton has the solution. Minions are down there, 3-cost minions. Get in and start cleaning out skeletons. Ice Golem comes right after the Fireball lands and also prevents the damage. Both of these players are huge Graveyard players, so not only do they know how to operate it on offense, they're super familiar with how to defend against Graveyards. This is going to come down to the better mechanical player, and I'm really excited to see who that's going to be.
2 mini-tanks marching across the left bridge, getting chopped apart by an Executioner, but a little bit of chip damage out the left lane as the Graveyard locked on early, got Wins tower down to 1931, but look out, this counterattack could be deadly. Is Wins going to commit to it? Not this time.
So right now, we have Wins. We know that he's got Fireball and Log to back up that Graveyard. There are 2 cards in Colton's deck we haven't seen.
We haven't seen
one or both of them. Yeah,
Graveyard.
Need to be a spell, because if you cast Graveyard and your opponent defends it, you have no way to remove those troops from the board. Your Graveyard's not going to be very effective. We might be seeing another one here right now, though. Going into tank.
Would be a very aggressive move by Colton. Looks like he's going to play a little bit more carefully here. Knocks the Electro Wizard into the opposite lane. A pretty crucial exchange here. Would have been super deadly if P.E.K.K.A. and Electro Wizard were marching in. But look out, because there's a huge push at the left side bridge. Wins relies on these massive attacks to support the Graveyard push out back. And with archers to defend against the P.E.K.K.A., it's looking pretty dangerous for Colton here. Can he roll in something to deal with these skeletons?
The Tesla Tower shooting skeletons and the ending.
No!
It's getting low. It's down to just 204. Colton's looking frustrated on stage. The log's going to come through, dropping it down to 108. A fireball will finish that off in the next 25 seconds, but Graveyard is one of the most all-in cards in the game. If this Graveyard push can be effective, he can take down Wins' tower and move through.
Who's moving on? The answer is Blown in the Winds. Strong performance up the left side on defense means he hangs on, and with the final fireball, Colton's left side tower goes down. Wins counts the remaining time as he prepares to move on to the quarters. The player from Team Nova, Chinese representative, has knocked out Coltonw83, USA, Team Queso.